Hi, I'm Santa Clara Mayor Lisa Gilmore. Thanks so much for joining us on Facebook Live to hear about how the city is responding to the pandemic and to ask questions during our show. I'm really excited to have Christian Pilecchia, Interim CEO of the Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce, as my guest today to talk about how the pandemic has impacted the Chamber. For over 70 years, the Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce has served the business community. The Chamber is a synergistic center of our community that inspires people, empowers business, and helps shape the future of Silicon Valley. They bring business and community leaders together for the betterment of the community at large. And as a business member organization, the Chamber advocates, educates, and connects their business members for their growth and sustainability. The Chamber, along with the City of Santa Clara, commits to making Santa Clara a place where business can succeed and prosper. You know, 80% of businesses in Santa Clara are small businesses with less than 500 employees. And this group generates 35% of our sales tax revenue and employs more than 75,000 people. So small business is really big business in Santa Clara. For those who do not know Christian, and I know many of you know Christian, he's very active in our community. He's very busy and active, as I said. He's the Vice President of Operations for Slater Construction and the Interim CEO of the Chamber. He has a master's degree in philosophy from San Jose State University and a bachelor's degree in philosophy with a minor in biology from the State University of New York, New Paltz. Christian has served on the board of directors at multiple local community organizations, and that's probably where you will recognize him, including the International Facility Management Association, both the Silicon Valley and the East Bay chapters, the Building Owners Management Association, Silicon Valley chapter, Eastside Union High School District Advisory Board, Mission City Community Fund, yay, I'm on the board with Christian there, Santa Clara Police Activities League, PAL, go PAL, go PAL, and the Sunnyvale Community Services Organization. Christian, thank you so much for agreeing to be our guest today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Mayor Gilmore. Yes, we appreciate the invite.
Great, great. So, Christian, tell me about how you became the interim CEO of the Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce, and what does that mean? I know you have other jobs and you're involved in all those other organizations, but what does it mean now as the interim CEO?
Yeah, well, it was a little bit of a shock to us. Our previous CEO, Nick Kaspar, which many of our viewers are familiar with, received a job offer that was his lifetime goal, his dreams. It was a job offer that suited his skill set more as chief of staff of one of the council people at San Jose, in the city of San Jose. Mm-hmm. So it was a bit of a shock, but it was a perfect fit for him. It was his ideal job, so we understood. And he had done a tremendous amount of work for us in the last few years. The Santa Clara Chamber of Commerce, had 40 years worth of set ways and certain operations, and it all needed to change. We decided to rebrand, and Nick was vital in that rebranding process. He helped us get a new location, new bylaws, just a whole new way of operating things. And he worked diligently for 2 years on that, and he reached to a point where he realized the chamber needed somebody else to take us to the next level. So we are on a search for that. If anybody is viewing and is interested, please apply. We have quite a few candidates that we're looking through right now, but again, thank you to Nick and everything that he did for us. I guess I drew the short straw to become the CEO, but we have a very active, strong board. and everybody's been contributing and participating. And I'd like to give a shout out to the chairman of our board, Ravinder Lal. I mean, he works just as much as me on this chamber, if not more. And so we're spreading out all of the activities of the chamber throughout, but I'm the one that focuses on the day-to-day operations.
So okay, great. And we know we do still see Nick Kaspar, so those are some pretty big shoes to fill. So it looks like you're going to do it very well.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. That's right. If you know Nick, right? So now you were known as the Santa Clara Chamber of Commerce. Now you've rebranded to the Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce. Tell us, do you have a new mission, a new focus? What are you looking at? What is the chamber's focus?
Yes, we do. So when we decided to rebrand, we had 2 years worth of strategic planning meetings, and we decided, at the advice of some of the people that we serve. For example, there was a representative from a very large tech organization in our area. I won't like to name names, but he said, every year I have to write 13 checks to 13 different chambers in the Silicon Valley area. He said, I wish there was just one chamber that was more regional, and I could just write one check and focus on that. And so that really stuck with us. And that's what we decided to do. We decided to be bold. Again, and give a shout out to our chairman. He likes to say, be bold in everything that we do. So we decided to be bold and become more regional. We feel that business doesn't stop at the borders of each of these 13 cities, so why should you chamber? On the flip side of that, some of our members were concerned that we would lose focus of the city of Santa Clara, our birthplace, and a place that will always be home for us. Mm-hmm. And so we also created the Santa Clara Business Council. And the Santa Clara Business Council focuses on economic development and government affairs issues only in the city of Santa Clara. They make recommendations to the regional board, and then the regional board provides support for that organization and for that part of the organization. So it's a local focus, local issues, but with regional support. That is our major theme in rebranding.
Okay, so we all have heard what's going on in San Jose right now with their organization and other things. So this might be a great opportunity for a really big regional look for the Santa Clara Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce.
It seems like we're the only one right now that's truly regional.
Biggest one in town. And
definitely the biggest one in town with the most resources. Some of the best members and sponsors. We have a lot going for us. And this was the year that we were going to show the world what we've been doing for the last 2.5 years. And of course, COVID has put a stop to that for now.
Can we talk about who are your members? I started the show with just a little bit of a few statistics about how important small business is for our city, and are your members predominantly small businesses? Are they larger businesses, or a combination? Who's in your membership?
We are so fortunate to have the membership that we have. We have such a great mix of large businesses and small businesses. Some of our large businesses include, of course, Great America, O2 Micro, Intel, Roche Diagnostics, one of the largest companies in the world that also decided to make Santa Clara part of their home. And then we have our typical small businesses. We have the mom and pop shops, the retail, the restaurants. We have service providers that provide insurance, payroll, and those business-related things. So we have a great mix of them all, and most are anybody that's able to help has been helping so far. But what we've added, what part of the rebranding, is more educational institutions. One of the things that we're going to be focusing on, we were planning on focusing on this, but now it's going to be our major initiative, is workforce development. Mm-hmm. And so we asked the superintendent, Dr. Stella Kemp, to be a part of our board. And we also have the president of Mission College on our board. And we are going to focus on connecting business to our educational institutions and create pathways for students from school to jobs in the cities that they live in. So in the city of Santa Clara, so that this is truly a live, work, play place for people so that young kids that grow up here can also live and work here and don't have to go somewhere else, for a more economical housing or jobs.
When you talk about that, do you mean like Mission College, for instance? Are they going to create workforce programs that suit the employers in the area so that they can train the students to go directly from Mission College into the workforce if they're not going to a four-year institution?
So there's many different levels of this, and it requires multiple partnerships. So there's going to be STEM pathways for those people that are interested in tech and software engineering and things of that nature. And so that will require a lot of schooling. So it's a pathway through more schooling and then eventually to jobs. And it's a partnership with, in particular, our board members that run these large tech companies. So they will help to contribute. But then, not everybody's interested in going into tech, even though this is Silicon Valley. We have trade organizations that will also be a part of this. And so the trade organizations will help guide people throughout that pathway. And we're partnering with one of the boards that we were talking about at the beginning of this Facility Management Association. With all of these facilities here, there's huge staffs that require maintenance of these facilities and technicians and engineers. So we're partnering with IFMA for a pathway into those fields. And, so there's quite a variety. Some will lead directly to jobs, and some will lead to a little bit more schooling.
Right, and don't forget the hospitality industry in terms of Mission College and what Mission College offers in terms of training for those in the hospitality industry. And, once our North Santa Clara is fully developed, with the convention center and the stadium and the related Santa Clara project, there's going to be a lot of opportunities. So don't forget Santa Clara University.
I would
You
never.
got to get Santa Clara University too.
Santa Clara University is definitely involved. We want to get them more involved. They've been a little distracted, but yes.
We've all been a little distracted. So that leads me to my next question. Just as the pandemic was gaining steam, you were appointed as the interim CEO. So what were your thoughts at that time? You were appointed in June or July?
Yes, but we knew in April.
Oh, you knew perfect. Yeah, timing, your timing was incredible. So
it was right at the beginning.
What were you thinking at the time about how you were going to manage all this and what this pandemic was going to do to our businesses in the community?
It was a little too much to take in all at once. We had such optimism. We had worked so hard for so long to rebrand and to launch our new organization. So it was a little disheartening that we couldn't, that got stalled. And we had to very quickly pivot. So we spent 2.5 years strategically planning on this new organization. It's like starting a whole new company. Then we had to regroup and start strategically planning for the pandemic. And we meet regularly. We meet at night, we meet on weekends, Saturdays and Sundays for hours on end, trying to figure out what we're going to do. One of the major initiatives that we're going to be focusing on is workforce development. And just like I was saying with those pathways, so we're going to, the biggest thing that we're going to do is help the city recover and help get people back to work as fast as possible as soon as this is over.
Okay. Yeah, it's still concerning with everything that's happening. How are you communicating with your members now? And what are you hearing back from them in terms of what they're needing? I know we had one of my guests a few weeks ago was Michael Fiorello from Fiorello's Restaurant, right? We love Fiorello's. And we love Michael too. But anyways, and his family, how he explained to us the struggle of having a restaurant, and I haven't talked to him this last week, but to open at least partly open, and now to close again because we're in a different level. We're going backwards in terms of that. What are you hearing from your members, and how are you communicating with them?
It's a struggle, yes. Michael will tell you I eat there at least once a week. I love Fiorello's. It reminds me of some of the Italian restaurants in Brooklyn, where I'm originally from. So. It's been very difficult trying to communicate. Again, people are distracted, they're overwhelmed, they're just not feeling themselves. We have sent out multiple emails and social media posts asking, with surveys asking, where are you in this pandemic? How long do you think your business is going to last? A variety of questions, and we sent it out multiple times. We haven't gotten enough of a large pool back to really know what's happening. And we're also a part of the Chamber Coalition. It's, all of the chambers of Silicon Valley meet once every 2 months to discuss, what's happening in each person's cities and how we can help each other. And I asked every chamber executive, do you have statistics? Do you know what's happening out there? And every one of them said the same thing I said. They sent out surveys and they get just a very small response back. A lot of us have figured that the only way you're really going to know when businesses are going to close is when that sign is on the door, close, out of business, which is really sad. So, on top of that, at first everything shut down, but then it was slowly opening up again. People became a little bit more optimistic. Some of these small businesses were encouraged to think that, okay, we might make this through. But now with everything shutting down again, this might be the last straw for a lot of these companies. So we're re-engaging these efforts for communication and phone calls, door-to-door service, and again, emails and social media, just to try to get as much info as we can.
How are you dealing with people's mental health in terms of this and their businesses? I know a lot of your members are small business owners that have, some of them family businesses and others, but the thought that they could be very close to losing their business altogether. How are you keeping the optimism and the hope going forward? Because I think that's what we're all sort of reaching for at this time is hope that we're all going to get through this. And I know we were dealt a big blow this last week when we were put in the purple category to close up again. So how are you encouraging people to hang in there, that we're gonna get through this together?
So anybody that has reached out to us and asked for support, we've provided it. And so just to know that there is an organization out there that is focusing on small businesses and advocating for them is usually a little boost for them. For example, Michael Fiorello, him and I had a conversation. He asked for some help, and we were able to provide it for him. Got him to the next stage, got him to the next level. But one of the biggest problems with trying to advocate for small business and trying to generate funding for small business is explaining that small businesses, a lot of these large companies are being asked for money. And they're being asked for money for those that are most at risk, the elderly, the poor, the young. And, that's an easy sell. Of course we want to contribute to that. But then here comes the Chamber of Commerce also asking for money for small businesses. And what I would like to remind people is that helping out small businesses, helping them get through this pandemic is homeless prevention and it's poverty prevention. Not only for the business owners, but for all those employees. And if you multiply it by the 12,000 businesses we have here in the city of Santa Clara, that could be very devastating. And not only that, but if these businesses close, as you were mentioning before about sales tax, those sales tax fund our emergency services. So, police,
it's
fire.
A snowball effect, isn't it?
It's a huge, huge snowball effect. So we're out there trying to educate people that small business is vital. Yes, we are very concerned with lives and people that are at risk, but the future of the economics of our area, the future of possibly offering jobs when the pandemic is over, is heavily reliant on small business. So small business is equally as a concern. And so we're out there trying to educate people for that.
So one of the things you touched on was the efforts that the Chamber is making to go out and outreach to the community, the business community, to help the smaller businesses during these rough times. And I know you and I have gone out to ask for money. The city has a small business grant assistance program. Grants, not loans. We've spent, I think, a couple $1 million and given $5,000 and $10,000 grants to the business community, but we've almost just touched the surface because of the need out there. So talk about that a little bit.
Yes, like I said, in the beginning of this pandemic, we did great outreach. We were able to raise about $20,000 for the small grant for the city through our membership and our contacts. It was kind of low at first, because of that hard sell, trying to sell for small businesses when everybody's so concerned about those that are most at risk, rightfully so. So the fundraising kind of went away a little bit as the businesses were opening up. Seemed to be a less of concern. Maybe the second wave won't hit us as much, but given the developments of the past week, we are fully engaged in going around and educating people about small businesses and how important they are for the community, and why they need help. Yeah.
I went out with your team, we've gone a couple times to businesses and larger businesses, and I think Roche was one of them, and they did contribute to us, and we appreciate that. But we also remind them how important the small businesses, how they support not only their large business in the community, but all of their employees, and how the city does provide all these great services so that they can locate their business there. So we all need to work together, and we may not check some of the boxes for, as you talked about earlier, we may not check a lot of the boxes for their giving needs, but small businesses are so important. So, the city, we will continue to work together to go out and really educate our larger business community about the importance and the need that our small businesses have. Because without our small businesses, they're not going to be able to, go to restaurants or get their dry cleaning done, or, get the goods and services they need in our community. So.
Yes, and like I said, so asking for money, everybody's asking for money, especially from these large billion-dollar organizations such as Oracle, Intel, ServiceNow. What we are asking now, instead of asking for money, with the city, we're going to ask for roundtable discussions, because this is their home too.
But we do want money too.
Yeah, so we definitely do want money.
We don't forget that.
But we're not going right off the bat asking for money.
You're more strategic.
We're
That's
a little
good.
bit more strategic. We want to sit down with these, the executives at Oracle, NVIDIA, ServiceNow, sit down at a round table, explain to them exactly what's happening and how much it will affect the cities that they live in too. I mean, they spend so much time here. It's like a second home.
Right.
So they should be equally as concerned as the people that actually live in houses here. So, and then from that point, when they see the devastation that's occurring in the city that they reside in, have them figure out how they would like to help.
Right.
Maybe it is contributing money, maybe it's contributing volunteers, whatever it is, let them decide for themselves, instead of saying, this is exactly what, you should do.
Right.
So roundtable discussions are going to be happening.
Well, we'll participate with the city with you in that as well. I want to offer support for that, because it's so important to support our small businesses. So Christian, it looks like we might have some questions on Facebook. Okay, the first, Larry Oliveira, why did Santa Clara County move back to Purple Tier 1? Well, Larry, we did get, it was based on the number of positive tests that they received and the amount of hospitalizations. So they moved us, they skipped the red tier and went straight to purple. I was just on a call earlier today with county representatives and Dr. Sarah Cody, and she mentioned that yesterday we had the highest amount of positive COVID tests. It was over 400 yesterday, the highest amount that she's received during this entire pandemic, and that hospitalizations have gone up 50%. So it's very, very serious. And as the holiday season is coming forward, the county's given us, very strict guidelines, and the state even put a curfew on us from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. To keep people safe. And the sooner everybody complies, wears masks, social distance, doesn't gather for the holidays, the sooner we're going to get out of this. But we're in a very serious time right now. Even our emergency services officer, Lisa Schoenthal, said she's worried. It's getting bad. It's getting bad. So please, everyone, take this seriously, follow all the orders, and stay safe. And if you can, get a flu shot, because you don't want the COVID and flu together. That could be very deadly. So there's free testing at Santa Clara County Fairgrounds on Saturday, free testing, but there's free flu shots, I'm sorry. There's flu shots everywhere. Please talk to your medical provider. So that's why we're in the purple. Next testing in Santa Clara, we have at our Central Park Library this Wednesday. Is it this Wednesday? Yes, November 25th from 9:30 to 5 on Homestead Road. You can go to santaclaraca.gov/coronavirus updates to make an appointment and for your free test at the Central Park Library. There's also other county locations. So Christian, have you gotten your flu shot yet?
It's coming up next week.
Oh, coming up next week. Very, very good. Very good. I went last week. I made the appointment at the library just the night before, and I went in literally. I didn't go at lunchtime, but it took me 7 minutes from the time I walked out of my car, walked in the Central Library, got tested, back to my car, 7 minutes, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt for a COVID test. So
Good.
I recommend everybody, and I'm sure your chamber's recommending those as well.
Absolutely. We're pumping all that information out as much as we can.
Okay, great. From 9:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Central Park Library. So there's plenty of opportunities. And then next, there's a comment from Larry Oliveira. Keep up the good work, Mayor. Thank you, Larry. Nice to have a fan out there. I think that's it, Christian. I think you might have gotten off a little easy today. With questions or comments.
I'll take it.
Before we end, I really want to ask you about what is your view of our path forward? And what would you like to ask of our city? How can we help the business community survive during this pandemic and during these very challenging times? What is your view of what Santa Clara is going to look like when we start to come out of this?
Santa Clara, I think, is, out of all of the cities in Silicon Valley, best positioned for live, work, play. What we have, within economic development, and the Chamber of Commerce is largely involved with economic development. You have job creation, housing, and tourism. You've done an amazing job with housing. We're catching up to where we need to be. Tourism, we're the only city in Silicon Valley that has this many attractions. We're Great America, Levi Stadium, the Convention Center. So, we have those bases covered, and job creation. We are creating jobs. NVIDIA is expanding, almost doubling in size. ServiceNow is expanding, almost doubling in size. So we have job creation happening. We have economic development happening here. It's just bringing them all, having the chamber be the catalyst to make it happen faster. And the way that we think that we can contribute the most is with the job creation and workforce development. Workforce development is a piece of that, and we think that we can excel with all of our companies that are part of us, and our connections that we have throughout the valley. We think that's what we're going to do. And what we would like from the city and the chamber had almost 70 years of a great working relationship. But lately, things have been changing around. Focuses have been shifting. We would like just more representation from the city on our board and on our community and our committees. Mm-hmm. And so we think that would help solidify things and get the message out faster. Instead of me, having to try to reach you when you're in the middle of 100 meetings, if you have a representative there real time, we think that's the path going forward.
Okay, that's great. And we're coming up to committee assignments, so maybe we'll add that back in like we used to have before.
Exactly.
I think I'm hearing from you our future is bright here.
It's
we
very
just have
bright.
this pandemic to get through, and then
Santa
there's
Clara
a lot going on here. It's
has
a beautiful
all
city.
the ingredients to be the most prosperous city in Silicon Valley and one of the best in the world. So we just got to make sure we enhance them.
Well, let's have our organizations work together so we can make that happen for the benefit of everyone here in the community. I want to thank you so much for your time, for coming here and really letting us know about your new chamber here, Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce, and all the good things you're doing. And I'm sorry you came in at such a challenging time, but that's a sign of a good leader, taking the organization through this challenging time. And I think you're an amazing leader. I do serve on a couple boards with you, and you do amazing work on our boards as well.
That's very sweet. Thank you.
So thank you, Christian. Appreciate it. So that's all the time we have for today at our Mayor at Noon show. With Thanksgiving next week, we will not be doing the Mayor at Noon show next Friday, the 27th, but we'll be back online Friday, December 4th. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I also want to give a shout out to Lon Peterson and David Knight for creating the music on the intro and afterwards at the Mayor at Noon show. It's an original score, so thank you, Lon and David, for creating that. So remember, everyone, keep it covered, Santa Clara. Thank you.